So Kentucky kicks ass, right? Kentucky kicks ass. Woo! Came a couple news stories here. We have in Louisville, Kentucky, a woman has former neighbor's cars towed to a scrapyard. So Louisville, Kentucky is written by Allie Hammond, Wave3.com. Louisville, a woman was arrested for allegedly having vehicles owned by her former neighbor towed to a scrapyard, according to an arrest warrant. Heather Tanksley, 27, used an acquaintance's cell phone to call a record service on December 9th and December 17th. Both times, Tanksley had cars owned by the victim towed to the scrapyard. Tanksley apparently rode with the record driver each time and was photographed submitting her ID to have the vehicle scrapped. So she was saying it was her car, called him up, give them the ID, and I saw the other people actually get arrested too, so I think it's just a fucking towing scam, right? December 26th, Tanksley attempted to have her third car towed from the victim's home. So she's fucking taking three fucking cars from the same house, right? Just taking the same fucking car. Towed from the house. Police are able to intervene and keep Tanksley from scrapping the car. She's being charged 2 counts of theft by unlawful taking, 1 count of attempted theft by unlawful taking. So just a theft by unlawful taking, which sounds like nothing. Okay, so this is like a fucking this is like a fucking international. This is well thought out. You know what I mean? This ain't just like a fucking shoplifting. Shoplifting actually almost seems like it's got more of a fucking, um, a bad distinction, a bad social grace. Would put a bigger stain on your reputation. So you have, the Kentucky kicks ass, right, for so many reasons. And we ain't just number one in pollution and child deaths and child abuse cases and cancer. We're also number one with insanity. So you have another story here, Wave3.com. Driver arrested after intentionally running car into home during a domestic dispute. This is by Laurel Mallory and Katie Barr, January 1st. So, bringing in New Year, right? Happy New Year. I heard also the Viper Squad's going around collecting everybody's guns on New Year's Eve. So everybody wants to celebrate the New Year? No. No, you're going to get thrown in fucking prison. Yeah. And they arrested like 7 people. They found 1 assault rifle and ruined, 7 families' lives. So happy fucking New Year's, right? Way to bring in the fucking New Year. They run the town, they run the show. They had the power of arrest, they had the power of force, and they abuse it frequently. So the constables, there should be a rise of the constables. I don't know. I gotta find out actually what governs Louisville. There's not a city charter. The charter comes out of Frankfort, so there's KRS that says what the charter of the city actually, how this place is ran. It's not the same as the county governments. It's got its own laws here. It's also its own nation state. So if Fisher and Conrad and O'Connell and the other guy, the Commonwealth's attorney, if they all know, just how things work in the world. Louisville's its own nation state, so Louisville's its own nation state, so it can do as it pleases, whatever, regardless of what Frankfurt. You may agree and appease Frankfurt for so long, but Louisville is its own separate entity. And just ask anybody else in fucking Kentucky, they'll say Louisville's not Kentucky. Louisville totally is Kentucky. Okay, it's too fucking redneck, too many white supremacy fucking monuments and statues, poverty and stupidity. There's too much stupid shit. Yes, Louisville's very much part of Kentucky. It's part of the culture. Even people here in Louisville try to pretend like they ain't from Louisville. That's probably where the UK love out of Louisville whites come from, racism. Not all UK fans are white supremacists, but all white supremacists are UK fans. So I think that's something to be mindful of. So Louisville, Kentucky is a dramatic scene, East Louisville. So just like the upper end, it looks like a pretty decent house. He intentionally drove his car into the house during a domestic dispute, 5 p.m. on Wednesday, 4300 block of Yeager Court off Shenandoah Drive near Ballardsville Road and the Gene Schneider freeway. Gene Schneider, who voted against the Civil Rights Act. The guy got in the car, backed up out in the driveway, backed in the street, and then floored it forward and slammed to the house at Ed Brown. Police say Damone Seawright, 36, plowed his car into his child's mother's rented home, causing significant damage. Neighbors couldn't help but stare in awe of how this could happen. Police say he was dropping off their child when it all started. Other adults were around too, also involved in a fight that turned physical. Brown lives 5 doors down. Just chaos. I mean, you could hear the screaming like it was right next to me. Once he saw what happened, he called the police. Everybody was outside. I know they have kids. I was worried about the kids, so I called 911 immediately. Fortunately, no one inside the home was inside the home at the time. Seawright remained at the house and was arrested a short time later. Brown says this isn't the first time officers have been called to that house, but he hopes that's the last. No one was injured during the incident. Seawright is charged with 3 counts of wanton endangerment, criminal mischief, and having a suspended license and no insurance. So, yeah, he just fucked up his life. Damone Seawright just fucked up his life. Drove a car into the fucking house, right? Didn't like his baby's mama. She was talking some crazy shit, and so he said, fuck this. I'm gonna fucking drive a car into your house. If that ain't Kentucky shit, you know, Kentucky kicks ass, right? Woo! So, if that ain't some Kentucky shit, I don't know what is. More Kentucky shit. We have arraignment set for Morgan County's co-defendants. Contracting firm owners accused in bid rigging, robbery, and kickback scheme. Kenneth Hart by the Independent, December 29, 2013. So, Lexington, Kentucky, owners of a Magaffin County bridge contracting firm accused of engaging in a bid rigging, bribery, and kickback scheme along with the judge executive of Morgan County are scheduled to be arraigned Monday in federal court. So this is a crime that involves the judge executive and the owners of the Magaffin Bridge contracting firm. So this contracting firm, who's supposed to be, I guess, a bridge, they're supposed to be building a bridge, some fucking construction company, but they're in a bid rigging, bribery, and kickback scheme, okay? So, Magaffin County, Berea Magaffin, this is in eastern Kentucky. Beriah Magaffin, he was the Confederate governor who deflected from the Union. He was elected during the Civil War. In 1863, the legislature eventually was able to make a deal to where he would, you know, drop out, and then somebody else would get in there because they was going Union, and he didn't want to fight against the Confederacy. He never wanted to fight against the Union, but he said he didn't want to join in arms against his sister states of the Confederacy, and so that's who Beriah Magaffin is. He's the legacy of, you know, the holding Kentucky hostage by the Confederates, and then eventually the Confederates take over power for the next 50 years past the Civil War. So we chose the winning side. Lincoln won, but in Kentucky they had a fucking nostalgic, the South will rise again, Confederate, you know, the lost cause type of fucking mentality. So that's Magaffin. This is Magaffin County. This is out in eastern Kentucky. So, Kenneth Lee and Ruth L. Gamble of Salyersville, owners of PBTHNOJJ Construction, which is PBTHNOJJ, like they have just random fucking letters. It just don't mean shit. Pibithanaj Construction are slated to make their initial court appearance in Lexington before Magistrate Judge Robert E. Wire. They will be represented by separate attorneys. Mark A. Wollinger of Lexington, a former assistant U.S. attorney, entered a notice of appearance last week for Kenneth Gamble. James Lowry, the fourth of Lexington, for Ruth Gamble. Kenneth Gamble, Morgan Judge Executive Tim Conley. Tim Conley, okay, so this is Morgan County Judge Executive. So this is, I'm not sure to see. All this is magistrates that's happened in front of Magaffin County, but it has to do with Morgan County Judge Executive Tim Conley, who were charged with 4 counts of mail fraud, 1 count each of theft from a program receiving federal funds, and conspiracy to federal money laundering in an indictment returned earlier this month by a federal grand jury sitting in Frankfort. Ruth Gamble was charged with conspiracy to money laundering. So this is Morgan County. And Morgan County, I think it's named after some fucking revolutionary fucking hero, Morgan. But you have, this is the F3, the big fucking tornado just went through West Liberty. And it was, you know, even got Mitch McConnell like fucking crying in tears. Please give me money, Obama, please give me money. And since we are a receiver state, Mitch McConnell's been begging for money from the federal government forever. He ain't a conservative. There's no way you can say Mitch McConnell's he was the earmark king. I mean, they got Mitch McConnell Center at U of L, right? They're just basically, it's an incubator for young Republican, fascist, fucking, just elite, fucking rich, fucking uppity, stuck up oppressors. That's what the Mitch McConnell. So I mean, he's got a legacy which he continues on, and so that's right. Let's see. That's Tim Conley. That's out of Morgan County. That had happened. That was an F3, an E3, F3 tornado. It, like, killed a bunch of people. Fucking ton of damage and shit. There's a dramatic footage of the person that was in the car. That was just like the car was like spinning and they was just like sitting in the car. Oh my God, that would have been terrifying. So Tim Conley was arrested, right? They're arresting the judge executive on December 9th. He was arraigned the following day, pleaded not guilty to charges, and then Weir allowed him to remain free on his own recognizance. So he spent a night in jail. They've actually put Tim Conley in jail. Morgan County judge executive was put in jail, right? In prison. And it wasn't like in Grant County he didn't get butt raped or anything like that. So he doesn't have a $1.4 million lawsuit, in his back pocket. He's going to have to actually try to prove his innocence. That became roughly 4 months after FBI agents conducted searches of Tim Conley's home and office. So FBI is, in there checking the shit. I guess he's taking federal dollars. Bam. FBI is like, where the fuck's this money coming from? So they come in, they're taking his computer, ramshacking his house, just taking all his shit, all of his papers. They confirmed at the time they conduct an investigation involving Tim Conley, but they wouldn't say what it involved. According to a 13-page indictment from early 2009 until August 20th of this year, Tim Conley steered bids for small bridges and culverts in Morgan County to the Gambles Company in exchange for gifts, payments, and other things of value. So he's taking bribes, right? The FBI has been Operation Bob Trop. They've been tapping politicians' phones for quite some time in Kentucky, and they keep on. Actually, lots of Kentucky officials get popped for being corrupt, for doing some illegal shit. Sometimes it seems unbeknownst to them. I almost feel a little sympathy with the Republican governor, Ernie Fletcher, because nepotism is very much the Kentucky way, and how he was able to got fucking hammered for that. He shouldn't have, he shouldn't have been able to, he shouldn't have got bogged down with that. So among the methods Tim Conley allegedly used to subvert the bidding process was to open bids for projects outside of public view and then alter PVTHNOJJ Construction's bid prices to ensure the appearance that Gamble's company had submitted the lowest bid, the indictment states. So they're making sure, there's corruption that's happening with the bidding process when it comes to the building of bridges and culverts. So it's a construction company, and that's how they're making money from the government to make sure they ensure the bid. They got the judge executive, the most powerful man in the county government, which would be like the mayor, with the mayor of a county. So he's the executive, Tim Conley. He's making sure that these construction companies are getting their bids in. He's making sure that their bids always win no matter what. So he gets 4 bids from 4 different companies, and he sees it, and then he'll put a different bid for his company, his buddy's companies, PBTH, Pipthinage Construction, Pipthinage, Kenneth Gamble. So fucking Kenneth Gamble, right? Gambling, he's a gambler. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and he didn't fold them in time. So you got Plymouth Nodge, fucking Kenneth Gamble. Kenneth Gamble's got $1.1 million in proceeds from contracts that secured Morgan County. So over $1 million fucking dollars they was able to fucking get from some of these. Maybe they built some of these culverts. Maybe some of these bridges actually got built. Tim Conley and Kenneth Gamble were charged with mail fraud, allegedly used U.S. Postal Service and furtherance of the bid rigging scheme. It's probably how the FBI gets involved. It's interstate commerce, so if you could say they've been fucking with the mail, then the FBI is like, aha, we can tap your phones, we can, come in your house and see what you've been doing. Tim Conley and the Gambles are accused of misusing federal aid dollars that flowed from Morgan County following the March 2nd, 2012 tornado that devastated the city of West Liberty and other locations in the county. Following the tornado, the county contracted the Pipith Nodge Construction, fucking Gamble's construction company, Kenneth Gamble's construction for debris removal. According to the indictment, Tim Conley misused his position of authority to ensure that the firm was overpaid for the work. The mail fraud and money laundering charges carry a maximum penalty, 20 years in prison with the federal. The program fraud count carries a 10-year sentence. However, any sentences the defendant might receive following conviction would be opposed following the consideration of federal sentence guidelines. Maximum fine of $250,000 for each count. Grand jury indictment is a formal accusation of a crime and does not establish guilt. So he could be in fucking prison for 30 fucking years and have to pay $500,000. Morgan County, Kentucky. Kentucky kicks ass.